What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's Daniel, and welcome back to the video. Today, I'll be talking about the top 10 NASCAR prospects for 2024, in my opinion. Let's go ahead and just jump straight into it. Recently, earlier this week, Bob Pockers did his list on the top 20 prospects in his opinion. Today, I'll be talking about who, in my opinion, are the top 10 best NASCAR prospects of a lot of potential, could be Cup Series champions in the future, have had a lot of success in the lower series. So anyways, let's go ahead and just jump straight into it. The number one prospect currently in NASCAR altogether, in my opinion, is Cory Heim. Cory Heim currently competes full-time in the Truck Series with Tricon Garage. He's already won 10 Truck Series races, which is the youngest driver in the history to win 10 races in truck competition at that young of an age. And keep in mind, Cory Heim, I believe, is 21 or 22 years old, so he is super young. He has been linked to potentially moving up to 20 through 11 racing in the NASCAR Cup Series, but he's not expected to be full-time next year in the Cup Series competition. But I think Cory Heim has all the potential in the world to be a NASCAR Cup Series champion in the future. He's done a lot of great things in the lower series. He's been also very solid in the NASCAR Xfinity Series, driving for Sam Hunt Racing. I think he's qualified up front multiple times, has had some very standout and some really strong and great performances. I think Cory Heim, in my opinion, will be one of the best drivers in NASCAR Cup competition in the future. I don't think he ends up at a team like Joe Gibbs Racing, unfortunately, because there's been some beef with that team for many, many years. I could see him go to a team in the future like 20 through 11 if maybe, like, let's say Bubba Wallace somehow doesn't return to the team, though we are expecting he's going to return next year. But I think that Cory Heim has got a lot of talent. He's in the 20 through 11 camp. He could go to Legacy Motor Club in the future. I think Cory Heim is a super talented race car driver. As good as he is, he's likely going to win the truck championship. He should have won the truck championship last year for all that stuff happened between him and Carson. I think he's super talented, can do a lot of great things in the lower series, and I think Cory Heim for sure is the number one prospect in NASCAR, and I think he will continue moving up. There's a chance he can move up to Xfinity, and he's done great there as well. He's been a couple select cup starts, has put up some really strong performances. I think Cory Heim 100% for sure is the best prospect in NASCAR currently at the moment. The second best prospect in NASCAR for 2024 is Connor Zillich. Connor Zillich is under contract with Trackhouse Racing under a development contract deal. He has already won some major races at just the young age of 18 years old. He has won 3 ARCA races in all 3 starts he's entered, so he's been 100% so far there. He has also been very strong in the lower series and other series like ARCA East. He's a favorite to win the championship there, but not only that, he is an excellent road course racer as he nearly won in his ARCA debut last year at Watkins Glen with a broken sway bar, mind you, and also is a champion in the karting in the world, and also, of course, has been very solid in series like IMSA, where he has won in the LMP2 class, not just in the Sebring 12 Hours, but also in the Rolex 24 as well. Connor Zillich is being considered maybe the best driver to come up through the ranks since probably Kyle Larson. He's very, very talented. He's been super impressive, and if he had not made those mistakes during the Truck Series race at COTA, there's a very good chance he wins in his debut because he was so strong, won the pole in his debut, and I think there's a really good chance he'll be full-time in the NASCAR Xfinity Series next year for JRM. And in the future, in the next couple of years, I think he will be in the NASCAR Cup Series, where I do expect that he is going to be a superb talent, and I think he's going to have a great chance and opportunity to win the championship next year. He's going to be in contention to win multiple road course races. And remember, he's also making his Xfinity Series debut later this year at Watkins Glen, which I think he's one of the favorites. So Shane Van Gisbergen is probably going to be good there as well, and a couple other drivers as well. I think that Connor Zillich is a super talented race car driver. He always gets the best out of equipment, and I think he just missed number 1, but he is number 2 on the list. The third best prospect in NASCAR, in my personal opinion, is Christian Eckes. Now, Bob had listed him number 5. I'm moving him up to number 3 because so far this year in the Craftsman Truck Series, he has been super impressive. He's been really the only driver so far all of 2024 that has been able to keep up with Cory Heim. He's already picked up 3 wins so far this year and is currently leading the regular season standings, and his consistency has been absolutely incredible. And in the Truck Series, he continues to get better and better and better, and he has been linked to not only potentially moving up to the NASCAR Xfinity Series next year, but also could be in the Cup Series potentially as well, though most likely if he moves up, it will be Xfinity, but there's also a great chance he'll be in the Truck Series as well. Christian Eckes is a driver that kind of keeps it clean for most of the time, doesn't really get into controversy unless they talk about what happened between him and Cory Heim at IRP, but I do think that Christian Eckes is a superb talent. He always does a great job in the lower series, and I think he could make some Xfinity Series starts before the end of this year. He does a lot of great things in the lower series. He's a superb talent. gets the best out of equipment, obviously, every time he gets behind a wheel. And he's, like I said, the only driver to keep up with Cory Heim. He's been linked to FRM. He's been linked to other teams like Caller Racing potentially moving up, or even JRM as well. I think in the next few years, we're going to be looking at Christian Eckes as one of the best talents to come through the ranks. I expect that all to continue for many years to come. He's a superb talent, does a lot of great things, and I think Christian Eckes has all the potential in the world to be a NASCAR Cup Series champion one day. And keep in mind, he's just 23 years old, so he has a long way to go. I think Christian is super talented. He's an ARCA champion as well, and I think he will be higher up on this list going into the future. The fourth best NASCAR prospect, in my opinion, is Jesse Love. Jesse Love is already an ARCA champion, won the ARCA championship with Venturini Motorsports last year, has won multiple ARCA East and West championships, and also currently competes full-time for Richard Childress Racing. And I did not expect him to do as well as he's done so far this year. He already had that win in Talladega and has had 5 or 6 top 10s so far this year. He has fallen off a little bit in the consistency side, but the fact he's only 18 years old or 19 years old, and the fact he's been super competitive at such a young age in a number 2 car that did not win with Sheldon Creed, I think that is absolutely unbelievable and incredible. And I think Jesse Love has all the potential in the world to move up to the Cup Series with a team like Richard Childress Racing. There's a lot of movement going on over there, and I wouldn't be surprised or shocked in the next few years if he's full-time in the Cup Series with a team like RCR, or maybe someone else like a Trackhouse perhaps, so I don't think he's ever going to get signed by Trackhouse, unfortunately. That being said, I think Jesse Love really has all the potential in the world to be a Cup Series champion one day. He always gets the best out of equipment. He always impresses me. He puts up great qualifying performances and probably should have a couple wins so far this year. And I think Jesse Love has been super impressive so far in 2024. I do think he'll be back with RCR next year in Xfinity, but I do think Jesse Love is a superb race car talent and a race car driver, and I think he will eventually be in the Cup Series in the next couple of years. I think he's absolutely amazing, and he's 1,000% incredible talent who has all the potential in the world to make a lot of big things happen in NASCAR Cup Series competition here in the not-so-distant future. The fifth best prospect in NASCAR, in my opinion, is Chandler Smith. Now, about a year or two ago, I probably would have had Chandler Smith in the top 2 or top 3. And I still think Chandler Smith is a superb talent. But I think this year he's been a little bit disappointing in certain instances. After winning 2 of the first 6 or 7 races in the NASCAR Xfinity Series, he has fallen off a little bit and has not won since Richmond early in this year. I think Chandler Smith has a lot of potential to be a future Cup Series star one day. He's got all the talent and all the potential in the world. The problem is the 81 team has fallen off just a little bit in recent months. But I think Chandler Smith, he was really great in the Truck Series. He could have won the championship a few years ago in 2022 and was really good in 2021 as well. I do think he's going to get better, though, and we know he's probably not moving up to the Cup Series more than likely next year, but I do think Chandler Smith is an absolute superb race car talent. He's won a lot of late model races. I think he's won the Snowball Derby, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong on that, but I think Chandler Smith has a lot of potential. He's made a few Cup Series starts with teams like Caller Racing. I remember last year driving for Caller. He was really the best thing that happened to Caller Racing last year in the NASCAR Xfinity Series, and I think that he has a lot of potential to really provide a lot of great assets for many years down the road to a team like Joe Gibbs Racing. I could see him replacing Denny Hamlin in the next few years, but I think Chandler Smith is a superb race car talent. He's an absolute amazing prospect, and I certainly think that Chandler Smith in the next few years might be racing here in the Cup Series, maybe potentially in the not-so-distant future. The sixth best prospect in NASCAR, in my opinion, is Sam Mayer. Sam Mayer currently drives the number 1 car for Junior Motorsports, and really he was not on this list about a couple years ago, but he has really joined this list in the last year or so, and the reason is because he's been super impressive in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. And you go back to that Truck Series race he won, I think in 2020 or 2021, at just the age of 17 years old, basically driving, I think, that 75 truck or the 24 truck. He was extremely impressive in that race. His only truck went up to this point. But in the NASCAR Xfinity Series, in the last year or so, he has won 6 races of the last 33 or 34 races, which is up there for one of the most winningest drivers in the last year or so. And I remember last year he won 4 of the last 10 or 11 races, and we all kind of thought he was going to be a championship threat and contender this year. And I still think he's got a good chance to win the championship this year. But he is being looked at by some Cup Series teams going into 2025. We have heard Spire Motorsports mentioned as a possibility, and we've also heard the potential of a team like Front Row Motorsports, and many people think he could go to Front Row, though Zane Smith might also take over that 3rd Front Row seat next year. I think Sam Mayer is an excellent race car talent, a race car driver. He's a great road course racer, which if you're going to be really competitive in the sport long term, you're going to have to be very strong and really great on road courses if you're going to want to have a lot of success in the sport. I think Sam Mayer has a lot of talent. I think he's got a lot of potential, and I think Sam Mayer for sure is one of the best talents currently moving up to the ranks, and there's a great chance he'll be in the Cup Series full-time in 2025. The 7th best NASCAR prospect, in my opinion, is William Sawalich. William Sawalich has been tearing up the late model scene for many, many years, and also has been tearing it up in ARCA this year. He's won a couple ARCA races, including a very dominant win, leading every single lap at Salem Speedway, and could also go back-to-back at Elko Speedway. He hasn't ran full-time in ARCA because, unfortunately, he's at 18 years old, and we do expect he's going to make some starts with JGR in the Xfinity Series later this year. But I think William Sawalich, while yes, the equipment can really help a talented race car driver, I think he's got a lot of talent and a ton of potential. He's been up front every single week in ARCA that he runs. He's got a really good chance and opportunity to win the ARCA East Championship this year. He already won the ARCA East Championship, I believe, last season, and I think that William Sawalich is someone who's really beginning to set the world on fire. He's got the talent, he's got the capabilities, and I think he's someone here in the next couple years we'll be talking about, maybe in the Cup Series. But you got to keep in mind, he turns 18 later this year, so anything can happen over the next years. I don't think expecting to be in Cup for at least the next 4 or 5 years probably, but I think William Sawalich is a superb race car talent. He's got a lot of potential, he's got a lot of capabilities, and I think William Sawalich is an absolute really great and a very awesome talent with a lot of potential here in the not-so-distant future with a team like Joe Gibbs Racing. The 8th best prospect in NASCAR, in my opinion, is Carson Quaffle. Carson Quaffle has been competing full-time in the Cars Late Model Tour Series and has already won multiple Cars Late Model Tour championships with Dale Jr. Not only that, he has made select starts in the NASCAR Xfinity Series this year with JRM, and I gotta be honest, he's been one of the most impressive drivers in the NASCAR Xfinity Series this year. He's been up front on a week-by-week basis when he runs, and he's only had 1 or 2 finishes outside of the top 10. I think he's finished every single Xfinity race that he's ran inside the top 15. And we all have to remember this, not too long ago at Dover, he could have went on to win that race. He's been super strong when he's ran in the NASCAR Xfinity Series, and there is a chance he could be full-time in the NASCAR Xfinity Series next year. Obviously, being the son of Travis Quaffle helps, and also working with Dale Jr. really helps with your potential of picking up a good ride for next year. I think Carson Quaffle is a superb race car talent, and I think here in the future he'll be full-time in Xfinity. I think he's great. He's got a lot of potential, a lot of great talent, and I do think that Carson Quaffle is someone here in the next few years there'll be talk about maybe being in the Cup Series, having a lot of success. I think he's a super talented race car driver, can always get the best out of equipment, and I think that Carson Quaffle 1,000% is a driver here not too far down the road that we might be talking about as a Cup Series champion within the next decade or so. The 9th best NASCAR prospect, in my opinion, is Nick Sanchez. Nick Sanchez currently competes full-time in the Truck Series for the 2 Truck for Rev Racing. He's already picked up 2 wins so far this year, both those coming at Daytona and Charlotte. And also, in my opinion, is one of the better drivers that's been up against Christian Eckes and Cory Heim all season long. And Nick Sanchez, I remember how well he was in Xfinity Series driving for Big Machine Racing. And we got to remember just 2 years ago, he won the ARCA Championship and beat drivers like Roger Carruth that year and Sammy Smith throughout that season. And Nick Sanchez is someone who I think here long-term down the road will be in a NASCAR Cup Series car. He does a lot of great things for the sport overall. He is a super talented race car driver, and I do think he will likely be back in the Truck Series next year to try to gain more experience because he is liked about the same age that Christian Eckes and Cory Heim is. He's basically around that 22, 23-year-old range. And I think that Nick Sanchez has a lot of potential. Having a team like Rev Racing really helping you is going to help you long-term down the road. But I think Nick Sanchez has a lot of talent. He's got a ton of potential, and I think he's one of the best young and upcoming talents that we currently have in NASCAR today. He is number 9 on the list. And the 10th and final best prospect that we are talking about today is Roger Carruth. Roger Carruth currently drives the number 71 truck for Spire Motorsports and has been full-time with the team all season long. He just picked up his first career Truck Series win earlier this year at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and at times so far this year, he has looked like a championship threat and contender. I remember how strong he was at the start of the year, finishing in 3rd position at Daytona, finishing in the top 10 at Atlanta, winning at Las Vegas, and he's had some really good stand-up performances. It was really solid at IRP getting a top 10 there, and also was very strong at other tracks like Pocono, among other things, earlier in the season. Also Nashville, where he had a top 5 truck. I think that Roger Carruth is a driver who could be in the Hedger Motorsports pipeline one of these days and one of these years. He's got a lot of talent. He's got a lot of capabilities. I think he's someone who could be very successful long-term down the road. Chevrolet likes him. Rev Racing really likes him. And I think many, many years down the road, we could see him move up in the future. And maybe in the long-term future, ends up being in a Hendrick Motorsports car for many years to come. I think Raja has a lot of talent and a lot of potential and capabilities as well. So those are the top 10 best NASCAR prospects. Some honorable mentions. Corey Day. Corey Day is someone who is very exciting, a lot of talent, been really strong in the late model scene, made a couple late model starts, and made his ARCA debut, and I thought he did an excellent and great job. You've got other drivers, of course, I didn't mention, like Riley Herbst. I didn't mention him because he's likely going to be in a Cup Series car more than likely next year. You've got Cole Custer as well, someone will probably mention, but I don't think Cole Custer is a prospect anymore. And there's other really good talents coming up to the ranks that I did not mention, like a Taylor Gray. I think Taylor's got a lot of talent, but I haven't seen much in recent months, unfortunately, to kind of put him on this list. So, those are, in my opinion, the top 10 best NASCAR prospects for 2024. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, notifications on, so if I win a video, it does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support on Patreon as well. Links description below that, and comment below your thoughts below on today's episode. Who are your top 10 best NASCAR prospects? Let me know them in the comments below. Most likely tomorrow on the channel, I'll have a NASCAR news video discussing news over the course of the last couple days. I'll likely have a video also talk about the top drivers who I think will make the playoffs that have not been locked in at this point. Also on Saturday, most likely have something special dropping on the channel among other things. I also got an updated 2025 NASCAR Silly Season Cup predictions dropping as well. I just got a lot of great and awesome content dropping that I cannot wait for you guys to check out over the course of the next couple days. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.